Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paperboy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
I am going to say a statement, Mr. Magazine, and I want your opinion.
Okay.
Whether it's practical, impractical, whether it's a good idea, bad idea, take it away, Mr. Magazine. Cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman. Well, it sounds like a good idea.
Well, I'm going to show you why I thought of this.
In a lot of cases, that could save both sides money.
I posted this on our video, on our thing, and that fish is cutting out the middleman.
Yes, he is.
Because had he not cut out the middleman,
yes,
he would be in some trouble.
Yes.
That's what got me thinking about this, but go ahead.
I can only think like, say I wanted to stock my shop with cards, boxes of cards. And I got to go through a distributor or a wholesaler or something. I'm paying a certain percentage. And then in growing, I'm like, well, I'm spending, 10, 20% over original costs on this. Why don't I go directly to Tops or, Upper Deck or whatever if I qualify and then cut out the middleman? That way I'm saving 10, 20%. So I would look at it from that perspective there.
But what's the downside of cutting out the middleman?
You're going to lose a connection.
Well, I was thinking most places, especially you're talking about things like that, have minimum orders. Right. And so I decide that I'm going to, I keep buying my bags off of so-and-so on eBay. Right. I'm going to cut him off and I'm going to go to the distributor.
Right.
And the distributor says, yeah, sure, no problem at all. We'll sell them to you. Minimum order is 100,000 bags. And I'm like, well, I use 4,000 a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's 25 years worth of thing.
That's a lifetime.
Yeah. Is it worth it for me to invest my money for 25 years to use them? Or should I get the 100,000 bags and then maybe find out what you're paying for them and maybe sell you some for a little less than you're getting and try to move them that way, but doing a lot of extra work to end up saving a very little bit of money.
We looked into it with the cardboard, if you remember, a few years back, and this one company, it would have been something we could handle and afford, but we weren't saving a ton of money. So, say we're spending, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month on supplies. This way we can spend the same amount and get a little more, but we have to spend $10,000, and that's good for a quarter, but we're only, getting a 5% discount. Well, that's not worth it to me.
To tie the money up, right.
Exactly.
Right, and the other thing I was thinking about, again, is because everybody always says you want to cut out the middleman, you want to cut out the middleman. Yeah. There are times where the middleman actually does a lot of positive things for you. And I'm thinking of in the secondhand trade, there are times where I end up getting the call from the guy who buys the estate out. Well, he doesn't want the books and magazines.
Right.
He sells them off to me. If I cut him off,
yeah,
I'm stuck with a lot of glassware and furniture that I don't want to do anything whatsoever with.
Well, they're doing all the legwork too, the middleman usually. So let them do all the work, and if you're happy, they're nice and they're fair, why ruin a good thing?
Right. And again, that's another big thing with when I go to flea markets and things like that, or when I buy from other dealers, is, they're a middleman, but they had a contact that I didn't have, or even if I could have ended up getting the phone call, they're the ones that went over to the house, negotiated a deal, hauled everything out of the place, and then gave me a call to move what they thought I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
And because it isn't something other they deal in, they probably didn't pay a lot for it as well.
Right.
Which is a big deal as well. In fact, one of my faults I do know is that I do overpay. So sometimes I may actually get it cheaper buying from the middleman than if I go directly to the person selling the stuff.
That's funny when I use Aaron sometimes, or some of these deals that he finds or something like that. He'll say, what are you paying? I go, I don't know, $150, so then say it's $1,000 or something. He goes, I'm going to offer him $700. Which I normally may not do that, thinking, geez, a lot of these guys always want that, or they always want more than $1 or $2, And but he's good at that. He's my middleman, and he's saved me thousands of dollars over.
Yeah, just doing it that way as well. Yeah. Right. So sometimes if I'm over there, not me myself, but the middleman guy is over there and he's buying all the records, and he goes, I can take these magazines off your hands, and that way you don't have to have another guy come in. You don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't pay a lot for them, but they're gone. I can give you $100, sure. And the guy's like, just get them out of here. Why not? Yeah. And then he calls me and sells me them for $200.
Right.
Yeah, I cut him, or I potentially could save $100 going cutting him out.
Yeah.
But then again, the other side is he hauled them all wherever. Sometimes they'll even bring them to my house.
Yeah.
That's got value as well.
Sure.
So, yes, there are times when you want to cut out the middleman, but it isn't the be-all, end-all that everybody will have you feel that it is. The middleman, a lot of times they do earn their money. A lot of times by just taking, they take everything and just move what you want, or you can cherry pick what you want out of them, depending upon what kind of dealer they are and whatever. And the other advantage is, because a lot of these middlemen that I deal with, the dealers that I deal with, are at things like a sale in Utica, or a sale over in Allentown, or a sale in Columbus, Ohio. Unlikely I would have gotten the phone call to haul the magazines out of a farmhouse in Columbus. And even had I gotten that phone call, it's a 6-hour drive each way.
Right.
I'd have 12 hours worth of driving in just to get the stuff out.
Yeah.
Or I could give this guy $100 for the pile of stuff.
Yeah. No, it's smart.
Probably better off not spending 12 hours of my own time driving down there just to empty the farmhouse.
Yep, exactly.
So middlemen do have their time and do have reasons to be out there. So don't just follow the crowd and say, I got to cut out the middleman. There are times when it is positive.
Yeah.
And the further up the chain you move, especially with goods like bags and cardboard and things like that. Obviously, the further up the chain you move, because those things are, a 12 by 8 by 8 box is a 12 by 8 by 8 box.
Right.
When you get down to it, as long as you don't have to order some incredibly high number of things, in which case, if you do, well, that's what the middleman's for. He can order that incredibly high, and then you can maybe work a deal. Say, maybe you can say to him, geez, here's what you want for 100. What if I took 1,000 of those? Maybe you could take a little bit off, but you don't have to buy the 10,000 that he has to buy.
Right.
And you might actually be doing him a favor buying 1,000, depending on his situation as well.
Sure.
So hopefully it helps you a little bit. We wanted to give you a different way to think about the middleman. It's not always necessarily a bad thing. And remember, most of us resellers are middlemen. So that's how we make our money as well. So do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.